Hi everybody, Broken Ebs here and welcome to today's video. Today's video is American Truck Simulator for Dummies. So, American Truck Simulator, you've probably seen it regularly on sale on your Steam sale page for $2 or $3 and thought, well, I'm going to have a bit of that. Well, this video is going to have you covered. It's going to cover what you get with the base game, setting it up if, like me, you're a keyboard driver and don't have, steering wheels, pedals, etc. And also I'll try and show you some of the best settings you can select should you want to stream it live on Twitch, YouTube, or make videos for said YouTube. The first thing to be aware of is in American Truck Simulator, there is a lot of free DLC. So go to your Steam library, and once you've downloaded and installed the game, click on the American Truck Simulator game once and scroll down to DLC. View DLC in the store. In here, there's a lot of free DLC which you need to ensure is installed. If you come to the free DLC section, click on this. Make sure that all of these are installed and in your library because I have personally before installed the game, searched for a truck, i.e. the 9900i, and couldn't find it, and sat there scratching my head. Why can I not find it? Because Steam is supposed to bring all this stuff down automatically, but sometimes it doesn't. So once you've installed the game, head to the free DLC section and make sure all of these are marked as in your library with the blue flash top left of the images. Okay, once that's done, you then need to start your game up. So let's start American Truck Simulator up and see what we get for our $2 or $3, £2 or £3 out of the Steam sale. We get an amazing experience. We get arguably the best truck driving sim on the planet, bar none. And we've got potentially hundreds, if not thousands of hours of happy gaming time. Okay, so this is what your interface looks like when you first boot the game up. Let's go ahead and load it up, and then I'll discuss some of the more basic options that you need to get right, especially if you're a keyboard driver. If you're using a steering wheel and pedals, then you can ignore it altogether. Doesn't apply to you. But if you're using a keyboard and mouse, then this is what puts most people off the game, because steering and setup can be at best erratic, at worst uncontrollable. Okay, so first of all, you've loaded into your game, you'll have your first job. Let's have a look at what the world map looks like with the base game. So there you go, we have 3 states. We have California, we have Nevada, and we have Arizona. All those 3 states are free DLC. Do not concern yourself, that's an absolutely butt ton of driving right there. There's hundreds, as I say, if not thousands of hours of pleasurable game time right there. Now, what you can do is, if you want to go beyond the $2 or $3 that you spent on the game, you can spend more money on expansion map DLCs for various states around and across the map. However, my tip to you is, if you do want to invest further in the game and buy some of these state map DLCs, check out the Steam sale, because you'll often see the map DLCs bundled together for a very cheap price. They're what I call pocket money prices. The other thing about this game is it's updated with frightening regularity. So even if you don't own a lot of the map or cargo pack DLCs, your game will still receive all the updates that SCS releases, and that's been true since the day the game was launched, and I've been playing this since 2012. Okay, so that's what your map world looks like. So let's go to setup and let me explain some of the options that I've selected. Now bear in mind, these options are for me making YouTube content. If you're just playing the game, then you have a lot more options than I do, and I'll try and explain it. So on the first options screen is graphics. I always have it full screen. The resolution I choose is 1280 by 720 because I'm making YouTube content. It's kinder to the CPU and graphics card. You might want to do 1920, 1080, 2K, 4K, 8K. That's up to you. I always leave the refresh rate at default and always have vertical sync enabled. The FPS limit I just leave as default. I don't touch. Okay, so under scaling I have it on 200%. Again, if you're just playing the game, then 300 or 400%, depending on your graphics card, is fine. I'm using an AMD RX 580 8GB, and I like to have the scaling on 200%. I find this provides the best bang for the buck. Anti-aliasing, I always disable it. I see no benefit to anti-aliasing other than thrashing your graphics card and impacting your recorded videos. Screen space occultation I have on high. All the following three options are then left default ticked. Reflection scaling I have on 50% and reflection detail low. That's just my personal preference. You set it to whatever you want. Vegetation detail I have on high. Grass density I have disabled. That again is a personal choice. You choose what you want. I just find that has a serious impact on recording videos and live streaming. Shadow quality I have on ultra. All the rest is set on default except mirror distance, which I set onto ultra. Okay, anisotropic filtering I have on 2 times. You set that to what you like, but if you set it max on 16 times, it's going to thrash your graphics card. Your world will look better, but it's going to thrash your graphics card, your CPU, and isn't the best setting for doing videos or live streaming. That's what I've found. Everything else I leave on default. Audio, your next category, well, you can set this how you want. I always put the master volume at 100%, up the traffic volume, up the voice navigation volume, and download the UI music, or downscale the UI music. If you want to enable voice navigation, put a tick in the box, click on the drop down arrow and select the voice navigation that you want. Speed warning I always have set on sound. I then skip by the rest of the options and just make sure system default driver is selected, because then no matter what audio driver I select on the system, American Truck Simulator will pick that up and play the audio through it. Okay, the next big one is gameplay. How do you want to play the game? There's various different ways that you can play the game. You can play it as a one-man band hauling ass trucker. You can play the game as a logistics director It's up to you. You know, it's your game. You decide how you want to play it. For me, I'll just go through some of the settings that I have selected. Fatigue simulation and traffic offence, of course, I have them turned on. And then the next setting that I change is parking difficulty. I always select safe parking because it's the most bang for the buck. But if you leave it on always select, then depending on what mood you're feeling in when you get there, you can choose to skip parking, or you can do hard parking. Navigation mode by default is set on best, and this is interesting. You can set it either on best, shortest or small roads. Leave it on best to start with, but once you know, sort of 10 hours into the game, I'd recommend you change that to small roads, because you will tire very quickly of banging up and down freeways. And selecting small roads allows you to see a bit more of the world scenically. Lot prettier, a lot more entertaining. The next three sliders, well, I always have detours set on 0 because I don't want detours. That's just me personally. You have these set to what you want. Random road events 33%. Rain probability I set on 5%. Time zones, I always change that. It's disabled by default to full info. I leave show cutscenes and show blockers as they are. I then use the simple automatic, steering auto center on the keyboard. If you're using a keyboard, this option here by default is set at 900 degrees. My personal recommendation is to lower it to 700 degrees, but that's your personal choice. You may wish to do that, you may wish to ignore what I've just said. I also have uneven road surface on 100% and suspension stiffness on 50%, and you can also put the cabin stiffness on 50% if you like a bouncy cab. If you don't like a bouncy cab, just whack them all up full and away you go. It's happy days. Cruise control, I changed that to 1 kilometer, and smart cruise control tolerance I set to 0. I think I pretty much leave everything else as default. Yep, there we go. Okay, and then keys and buttons, well, you can map whatever keys you want on your keyboard. I tend to use the number pad on the right hand side and steer with WSAD on the left hand side. I find that personally to be the most comfortable and the most logical, and it allows me to utilise both hands without having to fight either the keyboard or myself. And last but not least, controls. So because I'm using the keyboard with no mods, I tend to set steering sensitivity at 20 and steering non-linearity at 0. That works for me, and what that results in is a nice smooth moving steering wheel that doesn't jerk all over the place.
Please proceed
as you'll
to
see
highlighted
here.
route.
But still gives me enough movement to allow me to make turns comfortably without crashing. So there you go. I hope that's helped you new players set up your American Truck Simulator for keyboard driving. And even though you only have the 3 American states to drive on, you'll have an absolute ton of fun and pleasure. Now I'll do a follow-up video entitled Mods, because there's a metric arse ton of free mods that you can put into the game, which will either enhance or detract from your driving pleasure. I don't want to cover too much about mods here. I'll save that for another video. Needless to say, on your keyboard you have keys 1 through to 8, which will give you completely different views, from inside the cab to outside the cab to drive-bys. However, here's a little known fact: if you use the number 9 key, it will cycle through all available keys, which means you don't have to grope around looking for the right key. Just press your number 9 key and it will cycle through all available views. Of course, the key number pad on your keyboard, the keys 4, 5 and 6 are look left for 4, look right for 5, straight ahead. Sorry, for 5. Look left for 4, look right for 6, and straight ahead is 5. And it just allows you to spend some time getting really comfortable with the game and with the setup. My initial recommendations to you, which you can take on board and follow or ignore, it's your choice, is don't be in a huge rush to buy your own truck. Being an agency driver has the advantage that the agency or the companies that you're driving for pick up all the costs, everything from fuels to repair, which is amazing. And also you get to drive a myriad of different trucks, which then should help you decide which truck you're going to buy. Because once you've bought your truck, if it's not the truck for you, well, it's either a very, very expensive mistake, or B, you're going to spend a long time driving a truck that you absolutely hate. So, do make sure you go to jobs and quick jobs. You can hover the mouse over the available trucks and it will tell you what the trucks are. Try all the various different trucks out in a quick job first, being what we call agency driver. And once you've driven all the trucks and made your mind up what yours is the favourite, which truck is your favourite even, I'll get it out in a minute, then you can make a more informed decision as to the truck that you want to drive, own and run. Okay, I think that about covers it. That just leaves me to wish you happy trucking. In the next video we'll cover mods and also gameplay possibilities, and then in a third video I'll cover DLCs. And mods and DLCs kind of dovetail into each other. You can't really do one without the other. So you either need to make a decision to play the game as is and not invest another cent in the game, or you need to start thinking about buying and collecting the DLC that's available for the game if you're going to make it, if you like, your game for life. The choice is yours, only you can make that decision. However, what I will say is if you only play the base game as is, you'll have a fantastic time. If you decide to invest more money in official DLC and support the software developer SCS by buying extra maps or cargo packs or paint jobs, etc., well, then the possibilities are endless and limitless, and your driving hours will go through the roof. You know, I mean, add a couple of map DLCs and a cargo DLC and suddenly it's gone from a game with potentially hundreds of hours of your time invested to thousands of hours of your time invested. Hopefully this video looks really good. As I say, at time of making this video, this is on the latest 150 version of the game. As we speak, 151 is in beta testing.
Route.
But again, I don't personally recommend
In 200
the
yards,
casual player
turn right.
use the beta settings. Just stay with the base game, and whenever there's an update, Steam will automatically update it for you. If, like me, you're not using any mods, well, then you can literally just carry on using, playing and updating the game forever without a care in the world. So there you go, everybody. If I missed anything, please post underneath the video and let me know. I hope you have many hundreds, if not thousands, of hours of pleasure on American Truck Simulator. The specs to my gaming rig are underneath the video. Thanks for watching. Please rate, comment, subscribe, thumb the videos up or down. I will see you for another wicked Broken Ebs video.